Hi book buds! Welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Mackenzie, and this week I am going over all of the books that are coming out in 2022 and the ones that I am the most excited for. So today is day 2 of that, and I am going to go into all of the books coming out in February of 2022, so in just about a month, that I am very, very excited for. So, knowing how this is going to go, we're going to get right into it. I have my laptop here to help me out, and we are going to start off strong with The Good Girl Complex, which comes out February 1st of 2022. Now this is by Elle Kennedy, and I was lucky enough to get an advanced reader's copy of it from Goodreads. I want to give away, so if you want to see my full review of it, that is on my page earlier. But this book is coming out this year. I'm very excited for it, but it does have mixed reviews, and so I'm interested to see what other people think of it once it actually comes out. It has 3.87 stars on Goodreads, so we'll see what that means. I will say that it has a cheating trope, good girl, bad boy type of thing, rich, poor, and it's also like an Outer Banks sort of vibe. If you haven't read Elle Kennedy before, she writes romance novels focusing on like college students and stuff. So this fits into the vibe of Elle Kennedy and her stuff, writing about romance, writing about college students. She's got the cheating trope, all of those things. So if you've liked her other books, you should check this one out too. Okay, next up we have This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi, and this one has 4.38 stars on Goodreads, which is arguably really, really good. I know that a lot of others are more like mixed reviews, but she's got some really, really strong reviews on here. And this is a fantasy novel, but it also has some forbidden romance in it. So it's fantasy and romance, a little bit of both. I'm very excited about that. And it is the first in a trilogy. So this will be the first one, and we'll have to wait for the other two. So I personally don't know if I'm going to read it right away because I like to read like books in a series back to back to back, but I do want to know what people think about this one because it looks very, very promising. It's also inspired by Persian mythology, and it's for fans of Leigh Bardugo, who wrote Shadow and Bone and the Six of Crows series. And so if you liked those, that's kind of the vibe going on here as well. Very excited about it. Fantasy, romance, everything I'm looking for, and more. This one comes out on February 1st as well, so very excited. Next up, we have Castles in Their Bones by Sebastian, and this one is rated 4.26 stars on Goodreads so far. So again, pretty high ratings, very good. It is also the first in a trilogy, and it is written by the same author who wrote Ash Princess. So if you liked Ash Princess, you're probably going to like this too. Same author as that. I think this one's really unique because it has 3 point of views and written from 3 different perspectives rather than just 2. So it's focusing on 3 different sisters, and it's a royalty book, so all of the sisters are princesses, and it's written from each of their different points of view. So I think that's going to be really interesting. I will say it is a fantasy. I don't know if it's got any romance to it. I don't think it does, but it's a fantasy, so if you're into fantasy, that's that. I typically prefer like fantasy with a little bit of romance. I'm not sure what this one's going to bring, but I'm excited nonetheless. This is coming out February 1st as well. Okay, so next up we have Ophelia After All by Racquel Marie, and this one has 4.7 stars on Goodreads. So this one has reviews absolutely out of the park so far, which is insane because this is Racquel Murray's first book. It is technically a young adult book, but it is her debut novel, and a lot of people are really, really loving it. It is a coming-of-age story. It's about her finding herself and love and acceptance, and it also is queer. So I'm very excited about that. Love the queerness, love the diversity. The main character is Cuban American, I believe, so it's got that representation as well. As you know, one of my goals for 2022 is to read more diverse books and read from more diverse authors, so this one has Cuban American representation as well as queer representation, so I'm very excited about that. I already read a lot of queer books just because I'm queer, but it still makes me really happy to see all these new queer books coming out because growing up I didn't have a lot of those, and like even in the past few years they just are slowly trickling out. And so I'm just really excited to have that sort of representation in my life, and it represents me, so I will be reading a lot of queer things, but I'll also be looking into other diverse books as well. But Ophelia, after all, diverse read, it's queer, it's hilarious, it's heartfelt, it's a coming-of-age story, it's everything I want. It's everything I want and more. So I'm definitely getting it. It comes out on February 8th, so beginning of the month, just over a month away. I'm excited for this one. You best believe I'm adding it to my shelves, and you should add it to yours as well. Okay, so this next book, it's called The Night and Its Moon by Piper C.J. And I have to be honest and say I don't know a lot about this book. There is like a little blurb on Goodreads, but there aren't any like early reviews or anything like that. It doesn't even have a cover yet. But I found this book through TikTok, actually. The author is on there a lot promoting her book and talking about it and stuff, so I know a little bit about it from there. And I think it's really interesting because this is her debut novel, and it is the first in a series of 4 books, and she has written all 4 books already, so they're coming out back to back to back throughout 2022. So this one comes out February 14th, but the rest of them are also coming out throughout 2022 as well. So that'll be really interesting to see because the series is already finished. It'll just be back-to-back releases. In addition, it is queer. It is a fantasy romance book, and the author says that she's inspired by Sarah J. Maas, and like she reads a lot of that and just wonders like why it's so straight. So she like took that inspiration and made it queer. So Sarah J. Maas vibes, fantasy, romance, queerness, a new author. I'm very excited about all of those things. I'm not sure where to get this yet or how to get my hands on it, but it does come out February 14th. I'm really excited, and I'm sure she'll be all over social media posting about that soon. So if you're interested in that, keep that in the back of your mind and look for that as it comes out. And as a very good little pathway to our next book, this book is written by Sarah J. Maas, and this is House of Sky and Breath. So it is the second book to Crescent City, and this has 4.66 stars on Goodreads. Again, blown away. Lots and lots of very good reviews. It is a fantasy romance book, comes out on February 15th, and follows the same characters, Bryce and Hunt, just in another novel. So if you read Crescent City and you enjoyed it, this is the sequel to that. So not sure what else it entails, but for fans of Sarah J. Maas, I am sure there are going to be tons and tons and tons of people picking this book up. Will it be you? I don't know. Put it on your calendar. February 15th. And we also have Meet Me in the Margins by Melissa Ferguson. And this is a romantic comedy. It has 3.87 stars, so still pretty good. It is a clean romance, so if you're looking for smut and spice, this isn't it. but it is clean and it's a book about writing a book. So there's one of those coming out in February that I talked about. This is another one. I think that those are really interesting perspectives because it's a book about writing a book, and that to me is just very interesting. I'm interested to see that perspective and how that is happening and how that goes and plays throughout the story. But it is a clean romance coming out February 15th, so keep your eye out for that. We also have I'm So Not Over You by Kosoko Jackson, has a solid 4.0 stars on Goodreads. And again, this is one with a lot of representation. There are queer characters and people of color, so it is both the characters and the author that are queer and people of color, and I think that's really awesome to read. Love the diversity. I can't wait to pick this one up. And it is a fake dating situation between exes, so I think that's going to be really interesting. Fake dating between exes. Can't wait. So it focuses on the struggles of growing up and like being authentic to oneself too. So I think that's really interesting because that's kind of where I'm at, just like finishing college and growing up and trying to be authentic to myself and stuff like that. So I feel like it's going to be really relatable for a lot of people. And this one comes out February 22nd, and I am so excited. It is on my shelf to read. I can't wait. The cover is really cute too, so I'm excited. And last up, we have Delilah Green Doesn't Care, yet another queer, steamy book. I'm so excited. It is a romance, it is queer, and this is by Ashley Heron Blake, and she has written young adult books, but this is her first step into like new adult/adult literature. So I'm very excited to see that. A lot of people love her earlier works. I'm very excited for her to step into the new adult romance world, and it has 4.53 stars. So again, very, very high reviews. I feel like in general, a lot of these had very, very high reviews, all except for Good Girl Complex, which was a little bit like on the fence. It had mixed reviews, but this one comes out February 22nd, and I'm excited for that. So we've got queer, we've got representation, we have everything we want and more. So those are the only 9 that I'm going to talk about today, simply because that's the ones that I'm looking forward to the most for February. So a lot of queer reads, a lot of romance, a lot of fantasy, things that I'm very excited for. And catch me tomorrow for the things that are coming out in March. The March list is very long, but these are the 9 ones that are coming out in February. So I'm very excited for those, and I'll catch you tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. Let me know if any of these are on your TBR, if you're picking any of them up, or if you were lucky enough to get an ARC, what you thought of them. And I'll see you tomorrow for the March books. Bye!